how do we operate? We have our vehicles. We have people that come inside our buildings. If you fall, how do we pay for it? We're not covered. So now what? We have to pull it out of our general fund?
Y'all, Tiffany Henyard has officially hit rock bottom, and now she's out here admitting she's broke as can be. But hold on. It gets crazier. She's actually begging regular, everyday folks like us for money to fund her lavish lifestyle. Yep, you heard that right. The woman who used to toss taxpayer money around like it was Monopoly cash is now straight up begging on GoFundMe. Let's break this down. This is the same Tiffany Henyard who dropped $199,000 on welcome banners. Yes, welcome banners. And now, sis can't even pay her bills. The audacity. She lived like royalty off taxpayer money, fancy trips, $1 million security team shadowing her every move, and more. Hold up, because the tea gets even hotter. Allegedly, she borrowed millions of dollars and used city infrastructure as collateral. Now the creditors are coming for her, and let me tell you, it's looking bad for both Henyard and the good people of Dalton. But wait, we're just getting started. Before we dive into Tiffany's mountain of debt, let's rewind and talk about how she turned taxpayer money into
Tiffany Henyard warning of a potential Thornton Township government shutdown if insurance isn't approved.
her personal piggy bank. Imagine this. She spent more on welcome banners than some folks in Dalton make in an entire year. Let that sink in. Tiffany wasn't just spending money, she was on a whole other level of reckless. Well, here's how it breaks down. $99,000 on a single welcome banner, plus another $119,000 on banners plastered with her face all over town. Meanwhile, the average household in Dalton is scraping by on less than $30,000 a year. You can't make this up, y'all. This is next level insanity. Well, this is $19,000 a month we're being paid by an e-commerce brand called eBay. Talk about being out of touch, y'all.
A backbiting situation. It tends to be now us against them. Drop all the nonsense.
Tiffany Henyard needed to step outside, touch some grass, and realize how expensive life's gotten for the rest of us. But no, instead of facing reality, she was out here living her best life while the town of Dalton was sinking into a financial black hole. Let me break it down. This is a place where the fire department hasn't had a proper contract in 5 whole years. That's right, firefighters risking their lives daily, can't even get the basics they deserve. But meanwhile, Tiffany was out here dropping thousands on welcome signs, like she was running a tourism hotspot. And let's not forget her little Vegas getaways while Dalton residents were barely making ends meet, allegedly living it up in Sin City, while the people she was supposed to serve were scraping by. And if that wasn't enough, she had a full-blown security detail following her everywhere, costing the village hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. Some of these officers, they were raking in over $133,000 in a single pay period because of overtime. Let that sink in. That's more than many folks in Dalton make in 3 or 4 years combined. It's like she thought she was some kind of A-list celebrity. But here's the kicker. Celebrities spend their own money. Tiffany? Oh no. She was using taxpayer dollars like her personal piggy bank. And now, the town can't even pay its bills. The company that made all those fancy welcome banners, they're still waiting on their check. And they're not alone. Dalton knows everybody. But Tiffany didn't stop there. Oh no. She went and took out personal loans. Millions of dollars, y'all. And now?
He says he's asked for an email consent vote, which Henyard says is illegal, and special board meetings focus just on finances.
Surprise, surprise, she can't pay them back. It's like she thought the money would never run out. But guess what? It always does. And now she's in deep trouble. Here's where it gets even crazier. While Tiffany was living large, Dalton was falling apart. The police department? Their vehicles are at risk of being repossessed. because the town can't pay its debts. Can you even imagine calling 911 in an emergency only to find out they don't have a car to send? What are they supposed to do? Roll up on a horse and buggy? Catch an Uber to your house? That's the nightmare Dalton is staring down. And it's all because of Tiffany's reckless spending. Y'all, this isn't just messy. It's an outright disaster. The people of Dalton deserve so much better than this chaos. Couldn't keep her spending in check? Allegedly, y'all. If you thought Tiffany Henyard's taxpayer-funded splurges were wild, wait until you hear about her side hustle. That's right. This woman allegedly found a way to turn moldy walls into cold, hard cash. Just when you think a mayor couldn't stoop any lower, here we are. Tiffany wasn't just blowing through taxpayer money like there was no tomorrow. Oh no, she was allegedly pulling some next-level scams. Enter Section 8 housing, the program designed to help low-income families secure decent homes. But instead of serving her community, Tiffany allegedly saw a golden opportunity to line her own pockets. Here's the tea. Tiffany owned a rental property and was cashing in on Section 8 subsidies from the government. But the problem? The property was a disaster. We're talking severe mold, water damage, the whole 9 yards. Did Tiffany care? Allegedly, nope. She just kept collecting those sweet checks as if everything was sunshine and rainbows. By November 2019, the property had gotten so bad it was declared uninhabitable. You'd think that would have stopped her, right? Wrong again. Allegedly, Tiffany kept pocketing those Section 8 payments without lifting a finger to fix the place. Now, you're probably wondering, how on earth did she get away with it?
It's not about the township. It's not about the people. It's not about the seniors. It's just about self-preservation.
Well, turns out there's this thing called inspections. But here's the gag. The inspection history for Tiffany's property is shadier than a palm tree on a hot summer day. So you might ask yourself questions like, who's owning this place? Who's owning this place? And my money. It's like she thought she could just ignore all the red flags and keep the cash flowing. And while Tiffany was allegedly out here playing slumlord, the people living in her property, they were suffering. Imagine families with next to nothing, forced to live in conditions that would make anyone cringe. Meanwhile, Tiffany's allegedly pocketing government money that's supposed to ensure these folks have decent housing. This is unbelievable. And the police didn't even fucking stop her, and the police aren't full. They did the same thing. It's not just wrong, it's heartbreaking. But this isn't just about one moldy apartment. Oh no, y'all. This is part of a much bigger picture. Tiffany's whole deal as mayor seems to be one scandal after another. Financial mismanagement, corruption allegations, and more. It's like every time you dig a little deeper into Dalton's issues, another Tiffany Henyard scandal crawls out of the woodwork. What's really got people fired up, though, is her attitude. Tiffany seems to think she's untouchable. While her constituents are struggling, she's allegedly living large, spending taxpayer dollars on lavish trips and splashing out on welcome banners like she's running a celebrity brand, not a town. This isn't just messy, y'all. It's a whole new level of outrageous. How much more can Dalton take? While Tiffany's own tenants were stuck dealing with leaky ceilings and mold, she seemed to forget the one thing a mayor's supposed to do: serve the people, not herself. It's like she lost all sense of duty and swapped public service for self-service. Now, you might be wondering, what's next for Tiffany? Let me tell you this.
I am 100% confident that I will be, because they did a lot of illegal actions, which my lawyer is drawing up the lawsuit currently.
When you mess with the government's money like that, the fallout is usually ugly. So now, you probably saw something going viral. The culpa herd is handing out free dinner. Culpa herd is handing out free dinner. Tulpa herd is handing out free dinners to people. Now, you might be wondering, what's next for Tiffany? Let me tell you this. When you mess with the government's money like that, the government will get you in a piece on a dime. Typically, you may stay away from it. We're talking serious legal consequences, deep dive investigations, and a whole lot of drama. And with all the other controversies already surrounding Tiffany, this Section 8 scandal might just be the final straw that brings her house of cards crashing down. Here's the kicker. While all this was brewing in the background, Tiffany was still out here playing mayor, making decisions for Dalton like nothing was wrong. And we're on to something. This Section 8 scandal might just be the final straw that brings her house of cards crashing down. Here's the kicker. While all this was brewing in the background, Tiffany was still out here playing mayor, making fun of Dad on the Defund Tiffany site. So it's like she thought she could sweep the mess under the rug and no one would notice, but let's be real. When you're handling public funds like they're monopoly money, people do notice. And it didn't take long for the big guns to step in. Enter the FBI. That's right, y'all. The feds are now in the picture, and they are not playing around. They've launched a full-blown criminal investigation into Tiffany's financial dealings. And let me tell you, what they're uncovering is downright juicy. The FBI isn't just taking a quick peek at Tiffany's bank statements. They're going all in. Subpoenas have been issued not just for her personal transactions, but for the financial activities of the entire township. That's right, they're leaving no stone unturned, and it's like they're on a mission to track every penny Tiffany's ever touched. And y'all, the dirt they're digging up, it's bad. Turns out Tiffany wasn't just splurging on welcome banners and luxury Vegas trips. The investigation has revealed that she allegedly used taxpayer money for all kinds of...
Right now, we have no insurance. No insurance right now for Thornton Township. That's what's at stake, and they know that.
Personal indulgences. We're talking about extravagant travel and a security detail so lavish it would make an A-list celebrity jealous. It's as if she thought being mayor meant she had a blank check to live like royalty. And here's where things get even more intense. Guess who they brought in to oversee the investigation? A dot attached her name John Woink. None other than former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. That's right, they didn't call in just anyone. They brought in someone who knows how to dig deep and uncover the truth. And Lori isn't messing around. You know what? Under Lightfoot's oversight, the probe has revealed mismanagement at a level that's almost hard to believe. It's like every time they open a file, more skeletons come tumbling out of Tiffany's closet. And y'all, with Halloween just around the corner, they're dragging out all the skeletons. So how's Tiffany holding up? Let's just say her public image has taken a nosedive. The people of Dalton are fed up. They're calling for accountability, demanding answers, and making it clear they've had enough. The trust they placed in her to lead has been shattered. And can you blame them? When you elect someone to serve the community, and instead they treat taxpayer dollars like their personal piggy bank, the outrage is real. It's hard to say what Tiffany's next move will be, but one thing's for sure, the good people of Dalton aren't staying quiet anymore. Tiffany Henyard has been leading Dalton straight into a financial disaster. But it's not just frustrated residents speaking up. Local business owners and even former employees are stepping forward, spilling the tea directly to the FBI. Reports are rolling in that these insiders have been interviewed about Tiffany's alleged misconduct. And let me tell you, it's like a lineup of people eager to share all the dirt. And honey, you know they've got plenty to say. The FBI isn't playing games either. They've ramped up the investigation to include electronic surveillance. That's right, they're watching Tiffany's every move, likely hoping she'll slip up and reveal even more shady dealings. But it doesn't stop there. Tiffany, in what seems to be a desperate attempt to save her own skin, has started pointing fingers. Her former chief of staff, Keith Freeman, is now her scapegoat. She claims he was the one making the financial decisions. But Tiffany, let's be real. The buck stops with the mayor. You can't just pass the blame and think the heat will go away. You know what reminds me of? And speaking of passing the buck, Tiffany has taken this strategy to a whole new level. Instead of facing the music, she's pulled a disappearing act worthy of a Vegas magician. That's right, your girl has gone MIA. The mayor of Dalton has been skipping out on board meetings and public appearances like it's her new hobby. We're not talking 1 or 2 missed meetings. We're talking about 25 meetings she's ghosted. Can you imagine not showing up to your job that many times? Most of us would be fired before we could even say unemployment. But Tiffany isn't just hiding out at home catching up on Netflix. Word on the street is that she's selling off her personal belongings like it's a fire sale. Why? Because she's reportedly flat broke. Miss High Roller's lifestyle has finally caught up with her, and now she's scraping together pennies just to keep the lights on. I'm not helping here. Be honest with me when this money stops coming in. Word on the street is that she's selling off her personal belongings like it's a fire sale. Meanwhile, back in Dalton, things are spiraling out of control. The village board got so fed up with Tiffany's vanishing act that they had to appoint trustee Jason House as a short-term mayor to fill the void. Let that sink in. Dalton literally had to call in a substitute because their elected leader couldn't bother to show up. But here's the real kicker. While Tiffany's out here playing hide and seek, Dalton is drowning in debt. Millions of dollars, y'all. And guess who's left holding the bag? The hard-working folks of Dalton. They're the ones stuck footing the bill after Tiffany's lavish spending spree and questionable decisions. It's like she forgot that being mayor means serving the people, not herself. Folks are calling her the ghost mayor, in name only, but nowhere to be found when it actually counts. Running a town isn't like ghosting someone on a bad Tinder date. You can't just leave your constituents on red when they're counting on you to keep their town running. And while Tiffany's busy playing Where's Waldo with her constituents, the people of Dalton are left scratching their heads, wondering how much longer their town can survive this chaos. Dalton residents are left wondering how they ended up with a mayor more focused on dodging responsibility than leading her community. It's like they didn't elect a leader, but a magician whose final act was making herself vanish. But this isn't some magic show, y'all. This is real life, with real consequences. While Tiffany's off doing who knows what, Dalton is stuck in limbo. No leadership, no direction. Just a mountain of debt and a town left scrambling. It's like the captain jumped ship in the middle of a storm, leaving everyone else to figure out how to steer. And if you think Tiffany's taking a break from all the drama, think again. While Dalton struggles to keep the lights on, Tiffany's been cooking up a whole new mess. And let me tell you, it's a doozy. She's not just running from her problems, she's working overtime to pin them on everyone else. So first up in her blame game, her former chief aide, Keith Freeman. Tiffany's singing like a canary, claiming she relied on Freeman for all those shady financial decisions that landed her in hot water. It's like she's trying to tell us she was just a puppet while Freeman pulled all the strings. But Tiffany, when you're the mayor, the excuses don't fly. You can't just say, oops, it wasn't me, and expect everyone to buy it. But Keith Freeman isn't the only one in Tiffany's crosshairs. Oh no. The lawsuits against her are piling up faster than dirty laundry in a frat house, and each one is spilling more tea than the Boston Tea Party. We're talking wrongful termination, retaliation, the whole 9 yards. It's like she thought running Dalton meant ruling a personal kingdom where anyone who didn't bow down got the axe. One former HR manager claims she was fired for refusing to hide public records. Another employee says he got terminated for refusing to go along with a scheme to replace a school attorney. It was like working under Tiffany was a game of do what I say or hit the highway. And it gets even messier. Tiffany allegedly wasn't just bullying her employees. She was reportedly targeting business owners who didn't support her either. One businessman, Lawrence Gardner, claims Dalton police harassed him and pulled his business license simply because he refused to donate to one of Tiffany's events. Talk about a straight-up shakedown. Now, remember all that money Tiffany was tossing around? Turns out a lot of it wasn't even hers to begin with. She was borrowing left and right, and now those chickens are coming home to roost. People are filing lawsuits faster than you can say, "Pay up," all demanding their money back. It's like Tiffany thought she was running a Ponzi scheme instead of an angry residents and creditors. Her financial escapades have drawn the attention of the FBI, and they're digging deep. From questionable spending to alleged corruption, they're uncovering skeletons in every corner of Dalton's finances. The heat is on, and Tiffany's house of cards is wobbling like never before. Tiffany Henyard didn't just borrow money from private individuals. She went a step further and used city infrastructure as collateral. That's right, public property, which wasn't even hers to pledge in the first place, was put on the line to secure her loans. Now, those creditors are coming knocking, ready to claim Dalton's infrastructure to get their money back. This audacious move has drawn the attention of the feds, and guess what? It's her former right-hand man, Keith Freeman, is reportedly singing like a bird to investigators. Looks like Tiffany's attempt to throw him under the bus backfired spectacularly, because Freeman is allegedly cooperating, and who knows what skeletons are about to tumble out of Tiffany's designer-filled closet. But just when you think Tiffany couldn't possibly sink any lower, she pulls off her boldest stunt yet. Ready for this? She's launched a GoFundMe page. Yes, you heard that right. The same woman who treated taxpayer money like her personal piggy bank is now begging the public for cash. After all the lavish spending, fancy trips, and over-the-top security details, she's out here asking regular folks to dig into their pockets. The nerve! Tiffany claims she needs funds to address some of her financial issues, including the infamous $119,000 welcome banners and those Vegas stay-aways. But the people of Dalton aren't buying it. In fact, they're not just mad, they're laughing at her. How does someone go from living large, Kardashian style, to crowdfunding their way out of debt? The optics are baffling, and the timing, even worse. Tiffany didn't save, invest, or even stash cash under a mattress. Instead, she's back with her hand out, expecting more generosity from the very people she left in financial ruins. Many are asking, is Tiffany really broke, or is this another one of her schemes? After all, this woman has a history of shady maneuvers. Some speculate the GoFundMe is just a last-ditch scam before she disappears again. Let's not forget, Tiffany's already been MIA from 25 board meetings, has sold off her personal belongings, and appears to be laying low. Now she's turning to GoFundMe, and people are wondering if she's gearing up for another vanishing act. Others think this is Tiffany's way of playing the victim card, hoping to drum up sympathy and distract from the mess she's left behind. Meanwhile, Dalton's residents are still stuck dealing with the fallout from her disastrous tenure. The town is drowning in debt. The police department's cars are about to be repossessed. The fire department hasn't had a contract in years. And Dalton's credit is practically non-existent. If anyone needs a GoFundMe, it's the entire town of Dalton. But Tiffany? She's in her own world, where actions don't have consequences, and the answer to her problems is a do-over, funded by the people she failed. Even after all this chaos, though, Tiffany has managed to raise $155,000 through her GoFundMe. Yes, people are still falling for her act, but let's be real. $155,000 is like throwing a glass of water at a wildfire. It's nowhere near enough to fix the millions she owes, much less the damage she's caused. Others are debating whether Tiffany is truly guilty or being set up. Is she a hustler, a scapegoat, or both? Whatever the truth, the people of Dalton are ready for answers and accountability. What do you think? Is Tiffany orchestrating her biggest scam yet, Or is this all part of a bigger setup? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the next video.